You are watching the number one podcast in the whole entire wrestling community, and this is your host Juanzo. Welcome, Rogue Break family, to another episode of the show. We're going to be talking about what happened in Impact Bound for Glory 2021. A pretty great pay-per-view, came out after AEW Dynamite. They knew, the fans that were watching Dynamite, that towards the end they wanted a treat. Impact delivers. They were live from Las Vegas, so we're going to be dissecting every single title match. As you guys can see, I have here in the background, I have both of the main championship matches, so we're going to be talking about everything. Thank you for being with me one more time. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and also don't forget to keep sharing this content so more people can be exposed to the show. And let's start by saying that it was a pretty good pay-per-view. Had a lot of matches, but this time at least they were also some of them were really fast and some of them had a little bit of more time, so they were able to give us the whole thing, the whole vibe of Bound for Glory. Is that historically this is the best pay-per-view, or the most important pay-per-view of the year when it comes to Impact Wrestling. So many great matches, so many great history in this pay-per-view. So in this occasion, Impact decided to start with the finals of the inaugural social media championship. Of course, they did this on the pre-show because, like I said, there were also 8 more matches added to the main card. In this particular match, we get to see 3 guys against 3 girls, and all of them fighting to be that inaugural social media champion. We got to see Skyler right there. We got to see Gracie Steve. We see Falaba, Madison Rain, that was added because Tennille Dashwood, she had to, unfortunately, some circumstances, she had to miss the pay-per-view. Chelsea Green and Jordan Grace, they gave us a pretty good match, a lot of action. The girls actually are not afraid to fight the guys. Gracie Steve also always puts great performances. The main thing about him is the character might be misunderstood. Nobody really understands what's going on with Gracie Steve, but despite that, it was a great match. Chelsea Green also, like I said, she loves to fight guys. She likes to be mixed in that action. Madison Rain, she's not afraid of that. She did that in the earlier part of her career. So we get to see this tornado DDT from Gracie Steve and her. But in the end, Jordan Grace, she surprises everybody. She grabs Skyler. She does the Grace Driver, her finisher move, and she becomes the inaugural social media champion 2 minutes before the main show went on air. So this was really cool. I mean, a lot of people know that Jordan Grace is a great wrestler. She has a great character, and also she does a lot of outside projects of Impact. She does a lot of heavy lifting. She's won a lot of competition when it goes to powerlifting. So I think that's why the reason that they put the title on her. She's really popular in social media, and now she became a Triple Crown participant, a Triple Crown wrestler and Impact, because she's been tag knockouts champion. Now she's been the knockouts champion, and now she's the inaugural social media champion. So a lot of great things for Jordan Grace, and she signed an extension of her contract. She has 2 more years, so this is also a vote of confidence for her. We'll see what they do with moving forward, but she got an interview because she was saying how happy she was. She was really excited about what was going on, and also really happy that happened on Bound for Glory. And then we got to see Moose and Morrissey, and also we got to see Rachel Ellering, because Rachel Ellering and Jordan Grace, they're a tag team, so that's why they were celebrating. And then they said, well, in the Gauntlet match that we're going to talk about in just a little bit, it's going to be girls also mixed with guys, and that's something cool that I like about Impact, because that should be something that all wrestling companies should do. That just not all the time, but at least sometimes. It's just because it's cool to see guys fighting girls. It's fine. And Moose and Morrissey said it doesn't matter if you're going to try to win or not, because in the end we are going to win. And Morrissey just said, no, where's not we, I'm going to win. And then he just walks away. So Moose is I like his attitude. And good to see Gia Miller right there. Unfortunately, she lost her house in a fire. She's currently dating Ace Austin, so both of them lost their house. So hopefully more people are helping them, and also they're trying to make this negative into a positive. So that was the beginning of the show when it comes to the pre-show. So now let's go to the main card. So let's start with the main show, and this is for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. And get to see Decay and defending against a tag team that was formerly known as the Iconics in the WWE, and now they're known as the Inspiration, and that is Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay. They were really popular in the WWE. They were actually tag team champions also in the WWE. Now they're making their debut on Impact, and they actually made their debut fighting for these belts. And the same pose as the Iconics back in the day. Now they're Inspiration because they came to inspire us. It's a good opportunity for these girls, maybe misunderstood in the main roster, made fun of. They were turned into jokes. They were semi-serious on NXT. So it's a good opportunity to go back to those basics, to refine their characters. They've been trying to be be more active on social media. They're trying to get another opportunity in this world of professional wrestling, and you guys knew that like they were going to win those championships, because a big debut like this, they will not turn out to be a loss for them. So you get to see also like Rosemary, Havok, they put on a great fight, but the whole thing was about inspiration. They actually have new and better like performances, I could say, at least for this match. I like what they did, and also the one thing that was important is that they have brand new tag team moves, so that was good. They isolated Rosemary at the beginning. Also Havok was trying to do the big comeback, but isolating also like the big girl in Havok, like the most important, like the most damaging, the most powerful. They were able to get Rosemary with a double tag team move, and in the end, Inspiration, formerly known as the Iconics, they become the brand new Impact Women's Champion, in the tag team division. So this is great. They were celebrating. A lot of people are happy. I think that like is a good thing for the business, just because they're popular, and also they can help this division to like expand their horizons. Why? Because like they have different type of characters, and they're trying to improve their wrestling ability. So the fact that like they stand for Impact is something better. Impact needs this kind of like people that are known from the WWE. They're gonna bring more traction to their product. So that's what they did it, and I understand the reasoning behind it, and I think the match was not that bad. So Inspiration, brand new champion. So the first title that switched hands, that was in the first match. So family, let's go to the next match, and this is for the X Division Championship, a title that was vacated by Josh Alexander because he wanted to go for an opportunity against Christian for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship, and he does that to be able to have that opportunity like Austin Aries did like years ago, and he does in the same fashion. And now it was like there was a tournament to determine like the participants for this championship match. And we went to see El Fantasma, he's from like New Japan. To see Trey Miguel, the only guy that was left from the Radicals of that time, and also Steve McLean. This guy's like heel. He's trying to break in this world of Impact. He's been having like a good feud with like Petey Williams, so that was interesting and important. This match, like, when it comes to Fantasma and Trey Miguel, are the guys the high risk moves, speed, the intensity, but the power is on Steve McLean. So it was a good mix, two guys that like are more like speed, like super kicks, all of that style, mix it up with like a guy that is more just powerful moves, dominance. So it was a good match. Outside of like this picture right there, this is a little funny, like of course like a lot of people are going to make fun of that. El Fantasma has that quality to try to be comedic at times. He tries to be funny, and for most people, some people will like it, some others won't. But like I think that's what we got in the match. We got to see a lot of high risk moves. You got to see also Trey Miguel flying, Fantasma doing the same thing, super kicks, a lot of pinning combinations. And the main thing, I thought that McLean was going to win because he's a strong heel. He hasn't lost, he hasn't been pinned. So that's something important. I thought that they were going to go with that, but no, actually you said to see these opportunities by winning from Trey Miguel. And I think that like they put the title in the in somebody that deserved it and needed it, because Trey Miguel, he was the only one that like stayed in Impact and didn't sign with WWE or AEW. So I feel that this is like the way that they say, hey, we appreciate what you did, because in the end, another pinning combination, 1, 2, 3, and he's able to win this triple threat match, and he becomes the brand new X Division champion. Trey Miguel is like extremely talented, the power and also like the ability to wrestle at such a high speed, the execution, he's flawless when it comes to like long sequences. Like he deserves to have a championship like this, because the X Division is what like calls for this type of man, this type of guy that like will be able to put 5-star classics all the time. Guys like AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, he has that legacy in him, and he's been able to translate that into great matches. So he deserved this, and finally came to fruition here. So second title that changed hands, and now in the case of Trey Miguel, he becomes the brand new X Division champion. He has like room to have great feuds with McLean, also with like Fantasma, Chris Bay. He can have like also like Ace Austin. He has a lot of big opportunities. Willie Mag, like also like Rick Swan. It will be amazing. So this guy is going to be able to take this division to the next level also, because Josh Alexander did already a wonderful job. This is the right guy for the job. So we'll see what happens, but now let's go to the next match. And this was like Violin by design. You get to see, of course, Eric Young. We got to see Diener. We got to see Joe Doran going against Heath. Like he came back finally for injury, because last year also like it was a Slammiversary. He did his debut, but like soon after he got injured, and he was actually about to tag team with Rhino. So actually Rhino joins Violin by design, and then he is denying Heath. But Heath in the storyline, we got to see how Heath is like, say, I want Rhino back. Heath is my guy. He's the guy that deserves like to be with me. We were tag team champions somewhere else. so that's why they were doing it. And finally he's able to convince this, but like Rhino didn't come out right away. The beginning of the match was actually Heath fighting by himself against the Diener and Joe Doran. So like he looks good in the ring. He did like his normal shtick, the same moves. But in the end, the most important thing is like when Violin by Design was dominating the match, they were going to put him away. Then Rhino shows up and he's like, what side is he going to be on? Is he going to join Heat? Is he going to be back the same old Rhino that we've seen before, the War Machine? No, if he's going to go against Violin, is he going to be with Violin by Design? Is he going to be with these guys? These guys like completely brainwash him. And no, the answer is Rhino goes back to being the same old War Machine but before. He takes care of Violin by Design, Spear or Gore, the most popular move that he has. He's later in him win the match, so that was good. And Violin by Design, unfortunately, because of like the other storylines that like Impact has, they have not been able to be that powerful staple, that powerful force that they try to present themselves as when it comes to the promo work, everything, the video packages that they do. So like unfortunately Eric Young, Joe Doran and Diener, they're gonna have to wait a little bit more. But in this case, we get to see the celebration, Gia Miller interviewing Keith later and also Rhino, and they said, hey, Uncle's back, baby. So like we get to see the same old Rhino, which is good, and they can actually go and fight for those tag team championships. I can see them going against the guys that will be coming out of like the tag team championship opportunity right here on Impact. So it makes total sense. Good stuff for them. This is like I don't want to say historic tag team, but like a very popular one, just because they were able to win the SmackDown tag team championships at the beginning, and that's 2016 when SmackDown was actually good. So let's move on to like the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. This is more like a Money in the Bank. This is like kind of like the same concept. It's like a lot of guys coming. It starts with 2. It's a gauntlet match, but like the winner gets an opportunity for a championship or any of the choosing and at any time. So like there was a lot of people right here involved. We got to see Melina when it comes to the girls, Rachel Ellering, like I mentioned before, Laredo Kid. We got to see a lot of guys, Moose, Morrissey, Edwards, Alicia Edwards, a lot of like the guys from the Impact roster. And like I said, here we saw Melina, but in the end Chris Sabin also was right there involved. Final guys that we saw, it was Moose, Morrissey, Chris Sabin. They were all right there, and also Matt Cardona, he came back. Also got to see Brian Myers. So these guys were at the end, and then you see like their interactions between Cardona and also like Moose and Morrissey. But in the end, right there you get to see how Moose turns into Morrissey. He eliminates him, and then that leaves him Moose by himself going against Matt Cardona. But to see a big spear for Moose in 1, 2, 3, and he wins the gauntlet match. So for now, just keep this detail in mind. He has an opportunity, a championship opportunity whenever he wants. So that was good for Moose. Finally, Impact was doing some justice to this guy, because he should have been champion when he fought Kenny Omega for the Impact Championship. That should have been like he should be carrying this company because of the character that he has, the seriousness, the ability, the athleticism, and also how he carries himself. So this is good for Moose. He wins this championship gauntlet match, or this championship #1 contender tournament. Kind of like it's like a gauntlet match, so this was really good, and he has that opportunity. But before we go do that, we're gonna go and talk about like the tag team championship match, and this is like the Good Brothers defending in a triple threat match against Finn Juice and also Hikuleo and Chris Bay, from the Bullet Club. So this is what they've been having this feud for weeks now on Impact, and that's why like Scott D'Amore just said, hey, you know what guys, it's not gonna be just a singles match, it's gonna be a triple threat match, all 6 guys involved. So they gave us a pretty decent show. We've seen this already before with the Finn Juice. They're really great athletes and know how to put a good match. Chris Bay also like never disappoints. Hikuleo is just learning. He's still in that process of becoming a better wrestler, understanding sequences, but it was despite a great showing. But in the end, you get to see like a lot of action. The Good Brothers, they know their stick also. They are not going to mix with like the speed, the quickness that the other tag team have. They actually going to merge in dominance, just like powerful shots, make it actually slow the pace so they can actually get advantage of it. And then we got to see like a big splash from like Juice Robinson, and then Carl Anderson just tags himself and he's able to steal the win, and the Good Brothers keep their championship, so they're still the main tag team when it comes to Impact Wrestling. And also it's important to say that like their relationship that AEW and Impact have completely ended today. They're not gonna be teaming up anymore. There's not like this alliance that they did. It's just because it was the contract that they signed was all the way up to like this pay-per-view, Bound for Glory. So these guys are not gonna be showing up with like the super lead or things like that. For now, I think they're gonna stay on Impact. We'll see if they keep collaborating later on, but for the now, we're gonna see the Good Brothers as the tag team championships from Impact, and they're not gonna show up on Dynamite anymore, which is good because they were getting overrated. They were getting like overly exposed because winning on Impact but losing on AEW. So what kind of tag team do they have? So that was interesting to see. And then we're gonna see a promo from Christian. He's intense, another guy that like was helping out Impact in this case, and also because there was the relationship. Christian was also on Impact before when it was TNA. He won the NWA Championship, so he says like he's gonna show Joseph Alexander that he's not a veteran when it comes to not winning. He's actually gonna be the champion. He's gonna show him that he can still perform. He can still put like a 5-star matches. So he says it doesn't matter how much you want it. I'm gonna be the champion. So that was really cool. Family, let's move on to like the Knockouts Championship match. A long feud, a really great story right here. They took their time, and also like I love the longevity of Diana Perez's reign as the Knockouts champion. Also, she's the Reina de Reinas from AAA. She has 2 championships. Is Diana 2 belts? Nobody acknowledges that name. I would. So also like this feud with Mickie James, it started out in Slammiversary. Mickie coming back, also like inviting Diana to just be part of like NWA Power 73, and that was a really important. That will like initiate their feud because Diana gets upset because Diana had just beat Thunder Rosa in one of like the most important matches of her career. So she was really excited, and then Mickie just shows up and steals all the thunder. So that will turn into like a feud. Then actually Diana also like attacked her on NWA, and then Diana went to Mickey's house. So they've been having a long feud, like a lot of like back and forth when it comes to this. Also they had him when it comes to the Knockouts pay-per-view that Impact just did a few weeks ago. Then they did Pick Your Poison. It will just be like Diana will pick an opponent for Mickie James, and Mickie James will do the same for Diana. Diana will defend the Knockouts Championship in that pay-per-view. So that was really great, and this match did not disappoint. For me, the match of the night, just because of the intensity and just because the story that they were telling. Mickie James wanted to see if she was able to get a championship. She was able to win. She was a title. She was able to become a champion once again. And she said the last time that she held gold on Impact was 8 years ago. Diana, like one of the longest reigns as Knockouts champion. So everything, every single detail, every single part of the story was perfect. So that's what like I really enjoyed this. A really stiff shot from Diana. Mickie dominating towards like the half of the match. She went over the Mickie like the DDT that she does, like her finisher move. And nope, Diana did not like die. She still kicks out of 2. Mickie, like the reaction, it was just priceless. Not believing that like her best move Diana could still retain. And then Diana of course will go with the Fujiwara armbar. She will try that, but Mickie also like knows how to come out of that. So the match will continue. Diana will go for the pile driver. This was excellent, and also like the face that Diana had, like again the drama, the story that we're telling with like the moves, and also like their reactions after like the pinning combinations did not culminate in the ending of the match. That was absolutely great. And then even Mickie goes and flies. That's one of like her sentons, and then she goes into like the referee. Nobody came out, so that was good. They tried to keep the match clean, just between the two. That was great. There was a chair involved, but that didn't really change the outcome of the match because Mickie goes for like a tornado DDT that turns it into like the Mickie DDT that she does. 1, 2, 3. Finally, Mickie James has gold. She dethrones Diana Purrazzo, and I think that was the right woman because Mickie still can go. Mickie still had like 3-4 years in her career. She's an amazing wrestler. She's been able to transition to become Marvel producer when it comes to NWA, so she deserves it. And Diana, she can like the feud can continue because the story calls for like another match, maybe like a rematch, and we'll see if Diana gets it one more time. And they just did it to put the title on Mickie. I don't know what happened with Taylor Wilde. I would love to see her also fighting for this belt. We'll see what happens, but like thank you Diana for like a great run, and still not done because she's still the Reina de Reinas champion. So we'll see what happens. Maybe if they want to do some collaboration and with AEW, Diana will go there and challenge Britt Baker. They have a great friendship. It will be a great feud. We'll see what happens, but for the now, Mickie James is able to show the world, especially WWE and every single one of us as fans, that she can still be champion. She can still win the big matches. So there you go. Congratulations to Mickie James for becoming the brand new Knockouts champion. So also like they when it comes to Bound for Glory, in this week they do the Hall of Fame from Impact, and Awesome Kong was the one inducted for this class. She's one of the women that revolutionized wrestling, especially because at that time Impact like had a lot of girls that will revolutionize, not the women's revolution per se, but had like different type of matches. They were more educated, they were more trained as wrestlers. For example, like Taylor Wilde, Gail Kim, and also Awesome Kong, which is a powerful force that will revolutionize one. Like I said, one more time, like she will change the game, and that's why she was inducted into the Hall of Fame. She deserves it. She was like 3 times Knockouts champion. Unfortunately, like her run in WWE didn't come to fruition of anything, and also she tried to do the same thing on AEW, but it didn't come anything also. But on Impact, that was her best work, and she was excited. She said that like do not tell anybody to not let you dream. So that was like her speech. So really cool for her. Gail Kim inducted him, the biggest rivalry that they had. Really really interesting for both of them. So let's go talk about the main event, family, and that's for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. Like I said, former NWA champion, one of the guys that like helped TNA to be, or Impact to be where they are right now, and that's Christian Cage going against Josh Alexander. This was like, great feud because it's like the present on Christian and the past, but passing the torch to the new guy, a guy that was groomed from Impact, and that would be Josh Alexander. Great feuds that he had with like the X Division Championship, one of like probably the best X Division champions that I've seen, in the past years, and that's why he's able to gain this match. Word of words, you're not ready for me, or like you're just a shadow of yourself. Hey, I'm gonna defeat you. Christian is like, you don't know what you're talking about. I beat Kenny Omega. I'm gonna beat you. So great match. Also, it's just the Canizio tape. Christian was also like helping out. He's been fighting on Dynamite, so you see that like Christian is willing to keep putting his body into this train of work just because he loves wrestling. He loves these opportunities. As you guys can see in the picture, family, Josh Alexander dominated for some of the match, and then Christian did the big comeback. He hit like the reverse DDT that he does, the frog splash, the spear. All of them didn't finish Josh Alexander. He never hit the kill switch though, his finisher move. So that was the one thing. Maybe there will be a rematch. We'll see what happens. But in the end, Josh Alexander was the guy. It's the walking machine, and also like he loves this opportunity. He was gonna give everything. His family was right there, and in the end, he ends up winning the Impact Championship. We get to see like his wife, his kid was right there. So it was supposed to be a big moment celebration, but in a good fashion. Impact understood that they needed to do a shock because no Braun Strowman yet, no sign of him. Also like no Bray Wyatt or Windman. Like there was no mention of these guys, didn't appear or anything. This kind of like in this kind of pay-per-views is where they pull the big guns, so that's why they did this swerve. And remember, the winner of the Gauntlet match, Moose, surprises Joseph Alexander, and he takes care of him. He whacks him with like big shot, and then he goes for like a spear, 1, 2, 3, and Moose he exercised like his right to like challenge for a championship match, and he becomes the brand new Impact World Champion. And I think it's a really great swerve. It's a great opportunity for Moose. This should have happened like a year ago already, so this is good for him. They did finally good by him. They did right by him, and that's why he resigned more years for Impact, and he culminates this illustrious career that Moose has, becoming the champion. Now we're going to see like a really good feud. Why? Because Josh Alexander is going to be going after Moose for that title. He's going to be chasing, and that's the best way that you can portray it, that you can present a feud, because the babyface always is chasing the title after the heel. So this was really good, and I think this is a great way to close the show because that leaves the hook. Everybody's going to be turning in into what Impact is going to do on Thursday, just because we want to see what's going on with this situation. How are they going to make a championship match? What is going to happen for Christian? What is going to happen for Josh Alexander? So this was really good, and this is how Impact, this Bound for Glory ends. So family, thank you so very much for being with me. Really appreciate it. Put in the comments if you guys like this, like the pay-per-view, and also don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and also follow us in all the social media waves that you guys can see. I have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have TikTok, we have Twitch, we have Twitter, everything. As the original Raw Break, so help us out grow. Thank you so very much. My name is Juanso, and I leave you guys by saying